Here at Sydney Bodywork, we understand that release therapy is only part of the package. So to get you back to full recovery, here's a few little videos on how to do the best types of stretches and remedial exercises to get your joints and muscles moving in the right fashion. So now we're going to do a psoas and an iliacus stretch. This is a good stretch to do for anyone who has a little bit of lower back issue because of the nature where the psoas inserts on the lumbar spine. So if I was stretching out my right hip, I would use my left leg in front. So left leg up, nice good foundation between the foot and the back knee so that you've got enough space to perform the stretch. Facing directly forward, you want the knee to go no farther forward than the toes. You don't want to be over the top of the toes. You want it to be nice and comfortable so you're maintaining perpendicular through the lower leg. Keep the hip facing down. You want this part of the pelvis to drive down to the floor. You can do this with a variation. You may want to go forward if you're a little bit limited by your lower back in this position. Ideally, you want to be up nice and tall with the chest and the sternum. You can also take the arm up so that it's increasing the stretch along the quad and the psoas. An advanced variation is to hyperextend the body so that you're lengthening through the spine and really giving that psoas a good pull and a good stretch. Demonstrating front on, you want to make sure that the knee stays in alignment and goes directly forward. You don't want the knee going out or across. You want the knee in front of the hip at all times, moving forward, keeping a narrow stance between the two hips, arm up, and with the added extension of the hyperextension if you choose. That's the psoas and iliacus stretch. This one is for the adductors. Adductors are really important for the placement of the pelvis, and so they ultimately influence both the hip and the lower back. This is a dancer one, so be ready for this one. Sitting on your bottom, legs directly out in front. You want to drive the heels up off the floor, open the legs directly out like a gymnast. You want the knees to go directly up to the ceiling with the feet flat so that you're lengthening behind the knee. If this is a difficult position for you and you can't maintain a comfortable position, you're best off going with one-legged option where you bring the heel in front of the crutch. So the heel goes to the pubic symphysis right in the middle of the pelvis. You lengthen through the leg that you're going to stretch. The opposite arm reaches up and across, around the ankle, and you lean towards the knee, forward to the knee. You should feel a stretch opening through here, and you'll get a stretch down the hamstring of the working leg, so it's a two-sided stretch. If that's nice and comfortable and you can hold that relatively easily, you can go for the double option, where you open both legs, keep both knees engaged, and lean forward into the stretch. Don't let the feet and the knees roll forward. You want to force that back so that you're opening actively through the adductors. Elbows down on the ground. If that's not easy, just the hands are leaning forward. You do want to maintain a good curve through the lumbar spine. You don't want to round the back too far. You want to keep this nice and up and forward. Rounding the back isn't great. You want to keep the nice straight legs. That's the adductor stretch. This next one is the wall variation for the quadricep stretch. This is a good one to do if you're a little bit challenged by the first one. Again, keeps the hips nice and located so that you can't cheat on this one. You want to use the affected leg against the wall, so if I'm using my right leg, pushing the knee up against the wall, back yourself up, get the other leg up in front in a lunge, nice and comfortable, and push yourself up against the wall. The foot is directly behind my buttock, and you hold this stretch for a good 90 seconds. Displaying that to the side, knee against the wall, push yourself up, back against the wall, and maintain the stretch. Having the knee and the hip located against the wall means that the pelvis can't shift, and it maximises the stretch down the quadricep, in particular the rectus femoris, which is the top quadricep which crosses the hip, so it also acts as a hip flexor. That's the wall variation. This one is a wall variation of the adductor stretch that we did earlier. If you find the earlier version difficult, this one is perfect for you. It's really good for males and for those people who are a little bit challenged by lateral rotation. It's a really safe, easy stretch to do. Bum against the wall. Legs up the wall as far as you can. So really get your bottom touching the wall. Legs engaged, knees in front, rotate out like a dancer, arms out to the side. Making sure you lengthen through the knees, open the legs as far as you can, keeping the heels and the knees against the wall. Don't want to bend the knees and bring the knees away from the wall. You want the stretch to engage in the adductors on the inside. You want to keep the feet and the knees pointing downwards, so you don't want to roll forward, you want to open up and really make sure that that bottom is against the wall. You can sit in this stretch for a good minute and a half. It's a really good way to force the legs to open and to get the real targeting of the stretch here. It's a nice relaxed stretch and very safe to do, and again really good for the adductors and for the lower back. To come out of it, bend the knees, bring the legs together, roll to the side and up you come. It's a really, really safe stretch and ideal for those who find the other stretches difficult. This is a rotational stretch for the lower back, and we're also going to throw in yet another adductor stretch which you can do in the same position. Both these stretches are good for people with minor ailments of the lower back, but if you have been suffering from a spasm in the lower back, be careful with this one and don't go too overzealously with it. Lying on your back, you're going to lift one leg, 90 degrees flexion, opposite arm crosses, pull the leg across, down to the floor. Same arm as leg, rotates back towards the side that you've come from, and you look towards the opposite arm. You can do this with a straight leg for a more advanced version. Extend the leg. If you can grab a hold of the foot, that's great. If not, using a towel to hold on, keeping the knee nice and straight. Grab the foot, go across, lengthen the supporting leg, arm up, rotate, looking back, holding for 60 seconds. The adductor stretch for this one, full hip flexion with both hands over the top of the knee, rotate outwards, holding onto the leg, keeping the supporting hip against the floor. Don't allow the roll to happen. You can hold in this position for a good 90 seconds. If you want to do the advanced version of this, this is called a leg mount. You grab the foot, extend up, open outwards, keeping the supporting hip on the ground. Sitting in this position for a good 60 seconds. Again, don't allow the roll to happen. Keep it nice and engaged. Showing from the side, leg up, opposite arm across, rotate, same arm as leg, goes down, looking away from the crossed leg. With the variation, cross, arm, goes back. With the leg mount, you want to go full flexion, rotate outwards, keeping the supporting leg on the ground, open. With the leg mount, taking the leg out to the side, arm open, looking upwards. Both these stretches are really good for the rotation of the spine and keeping you in a nice, even manner between both sides of the pelvis. So these are just some of the stretches that you can do for your hips and your lower back. Remember, with all stretches, any sharp pain should be avoided, so stop immediately. If you're doing these exercises after activity, you should hold for 60 to 90 seconds. If you're using them as a warm-up, more 15 to 20 seconds. We hope you've enjoyed them. We hope that these can help you keep your hips and your lower back in good working order. Have fun.